One thing that I've probably learnt is that just to value your employees, then everything else kind of just works itself out.
It sounds to me like the way that you tell the story, you've just fallen into everything that's happened and you've seen opportunities and just gone for them. And
So I'm always passionate about saying to them, just get it right at the start.
if you were having a conversation with 18-year-old you, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would say to her?
Now I would just say try anything. If the worst thing that can happen is something doesn't work.
I've kind of set myself a goal or a challenge of trying to build my business just using AI and just see how far I can actually push the boundaries of it. And to be honest, I'm quite astonished at what I can already do. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. So I did a little bit of research. You've got a pretty amazing bookkeeping company. And I know when we were talking, when we went out, I really liked your backstory. So I thought it'd be really cool to start there. So how did you actually get into business?
Okay, so when I left school, I went to business college, and then from there, my first job was in a construction company where I was the assistant to a treasurer. And I guess that's where I always loved numbers. I loved numbers at school. I loved maths, and I guess that's where it started. So from there, I was in a company that was a big construction company at the time, and it was in the late 80s, and they ran it on their floors, and it was big corporate. We looked at the opera house, nice views, Friday afternoon it was Moët champagne in the boardroom, and then that all disappeared because they went bankrupt. So too much Moët on a Friday.
Okay.
So then from there, two of the directors actually left and started their own construction company and asked me to join them. So from there, it was actually a change of pace. We ended up on a building site at the end of the runway at Tempe. So we went from corporate to hard hat and jeans for work.
Yep.
Which was really fun. And then I helped them set up their office.
Okay.
And they're still around today. So it's actually really nice when I see that all these years later, they're still, and apparently they're still in the same office we set up. So
Wow, yeah.
long time ago.
So back then you were doing bookkeeping stuff. When we say set up the office, you set up all of their...
Set up all of their systems. In those days, there was no email. There was no internet.
Yep.
It was fax. I think we had a little bit of MS-DOS type.
Yep. Get on the team.
So yeah, that was about it.
Yep. Okay.
That was about it. So so we set up their office, and then there was lots of phone calls. But I'm not even sure how we did invoicing then. We probably typed it. We actually probably that's probably what we did. They probably did it like that. Yeah. So that was a really good opportunity.
Yep.
And then from there, I kind of got a little bit tired of being in hard hat and jeans and being on job sites every day. So I actually went to the airlines. So so I saw an opportunity with Continental Airlines.
Oh, yes.
At the time.
Yeah. No longer around.
They started flying to Australia, and then again into their treasury department.
Yep.
And then I got moved to marketing. And in marketing, again, it was numbers. Even though you think of marketing as marketing their products, it was looking at the yield across the Pacific. It was packaging holidays together, adding in Disneyland, 5 nights accommodation, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then we go to the Sunday papers in those days, because everyone was still reading the Sunday papers.
Yeah.
And it had markets, we were marketing bags of fun was our thing. And we have, 5 nights in LA, 2 nights in Hawaii, Disneyland passes, that kind of thing.
So when you say Continental Airlines, I wasn't traveling myself. I think I might have been in primary school or something. But
that makes me feel well.
But what I've seen from the photos, it looks super bougie. People would saunter onto the plane all dressed up. Was that the era that you were in the airlines block?
Probably not. No, yeah. Yeah, look, we were very lucky. Once Continental Airlines, I actually moved to Northwest Airlines.
Okay.
So they started flying into Australia, and then the whole marketing department was basically headhunted to go to Northwest, which was really interesting. We were in the same building. It was a twin building in Kent Street, and we literally left on a Friday one side of the building and started on Monday on the other side.
Wow. And did you find those skills? I mean, obviously you're very experienced by this point in time, you're experienced in doing numbers from a financials perspective. Did you find it easily transferable into the sort of data-driven aspect of marketing?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I found, and it was also just a little bit more interesting than doing numbers all the time.
That's right.
So it was just a different way of looking at the numbers.
Did you have to go on exploration trips?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And the other interesting thing at the time was that for the uniforms, for us, because we had uniforms, and for the uniforms to be imported, it had actually cost more than the airlines sending us to Hawaii to pick them up.
The joke.
No. So
That seems crazy.
I know. So it was actually going to cost them more in taxes to bring them in than to send us to go and actually pick them up.
Okay.
So that was actually really cool. So we went, my husband and I went on a Friday afternoon and we went first class for,
Yep.
a ridiculous amount of money.
I'm just trying to think of like filling out my business tax return and putting down the reason why I need to pick up my uniform.
Yeah.
And I accidentally had to go for Hawaii.
I know.
It's hard to believe.
I know. It was good. And then we just went in and picked the uniforms up and came back. So,
Wow.
so it was a really good opportunity for us to travel.
Yep.
And it was great. In those days, I'm pretty sure it's changed now. You'd buy a first class ticket, which may have been, $75, $80
Yep.
for a first class ticket. And then business class might be $50 and then economy might have been $20 or $30. And always buy first class, because if you couldn't get on in first class, because it was always a case of availability and, if they didn't have seats available. So if you couldn't get on in first class, then you go to business class. If you couldn't get in business class, you go to economy. So you had 3 chances of getting on the plane.
Okay.
And if economy was full, you might get bumped, and it might not be able to even get on that flight at all.
Wow.
So if you're sitting there, if you happen to be in economy, you'd be sitting there waiting, going, shut the door, shut the door, shut the door.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
somebody could turn up.
Yep.
So that was actually, it was always a bit of fun. And then, we got married and we could, we went on our honeymoon. So I was with Stella and Sen. So we went to America and San Francisco. So that was really good.
Okay.
And then we built a house on the Central Coast.
Okay.
So going into Kent Street every day became a little bit challenging. So we decided that I should look for a job on the Central Coast.
Okay.
And at the time, I was lucky enough to find a job at Kentuck, and there goes Australian landscape photographer,
Yep.
and that was working out on his property at Matcham.
Yep.
So that was really good. So I was doing the accounts there, and also had the opportunity to look at help him choose limited edition prints.
Really?
Yeah, which was really cool.
He's quite an amazing photographer, actually.
He is. He's an amazing photographer. He's a really good guy. And we also had the opportunity, I had to put calendars together, because at the time he was doing coffee books, calendars, Christmas cards, all those types of things.
Yep.
So that was really good. And it was interesting to see how much goes into picking that limited edition print. There's so many prints on either side.
Okay. Yep.
So, we were there with the eyeglass trying to work out.
Yep.
I mean, he would just show me, but
Yeah.
so that was really interesting. And then we did he did a book for World Vision, so I was helping put that together.
Nice. Yeah.
So so that was a really good opportunity. So I guess my experience has been varied.
I'm
And
just trying to think. Like, it's quite fascinating to me. I mean, you've gone 3 completely different industries. Like, that's quite amazing. Like, you're the construction industry, airline industry, then I don't know, the photography industry.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And then I had my daughters, so then I set up a homeware and giftware business. See, another
Just for something different.
For something different. So that was good whilst my husband was at work, and then I could be at home with the girls and then do party plan type dinners at night. So he'd come home and then I'd go out with like really heavy, now I think of it, heavy crates full of glassware and timber and ceramics. And,
Yep. Is that kind of similar to the Tupperware?
No, it was all the products I had sourced myself.
Okay.
And they're all Australian made and they're all local, and most of them allowed you to customise. So we were dealing with a glass supplier in Newtown.
Okay.
I think it was in Newtown. And he would actually have certain sizes that people could choose. So they could choose a round bowl, for instance, then they could choose the depth, and then they could choose if they wanted to have seashells or gum leaves or whatever they wanted to have on the glass, and then he would create it.
Wow. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Like I've seen the glass blowing and the glass making over in Italy, but I've never seen it in Australia. That's
Well, it's more commercial, so he was kind of helping us like in a kind of domestic market.
okay. Yep.
They do the big sheets of glass and,
Right.
like that you would see in office buildings.
Ah, okay. So it's kind of like his creative outfit.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So that was good. So we had a whole range of things there, and then GST came, and it was like I had a couple of consultants, and I thought I'm not sure how this is going to work with GST and buying at wholesale, and I just thought, you know what, I think I'm done. I had done it for a few years, and a lot of the things we would actually make as myself, like we had these cinnamon sticks that we'd make with, that you could put in bathrooms or in kitchens and things like that.
Huh.
So that became a little bit like, we had a good time with it, and then that was it. So
What were the complexities? Like realistically, I mean, I had nothing to do with the implementation of GST. From my perspective, suddenly things just basically cost 10% more. I bet people didn't pass over the full 10% initially, but eventually that's what happened.
yeah.
But you were kind of in business at that time. What was the complexity with introducing GST?
So that's what the complexity was. That's why I decided not to do it. I just thought, I just don't. And some things had GST on it, and some don't. Even to this day, some things had GST. So I just thought I just don't want to go there with this. So I actually decided to change direction.
Okay.
And because I had so much experience with bookkeeping
Yep.
and accounting and accounts payable, accounts receivable, those types of things, I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just do bookkeeping because that will be good. And I shouldn't say just bookkeeping, because bookkeeping is a really important role in people's business. So I actually started a bookkeeping business.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean though, because it can feel like, when you go into a service-based industry, you have this whole thing going on. And you're like, I'm done with this. It's too hard. It's too frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to this thing that I know. It'd be like me being like, I just want to go back to cybersecurity. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and the good thing was my girls were starting to go to school. So they were in kind of, I think one was still in daycare and one was in Hindi at school. So I wanted to do a job that I could work around them. And I've pretty much done that our whole life so that I could actually, be before and after school with them and still work. So, so I actually started a bookkeeping business, and I had a few clients, which was really good, and they were local in the Hills District. And one of them happened to be a group of childcare centres in the Hills District.
Okay.
And they were just starting to grow. So they were quite small themselves. And when I went there, I think they probably had 3 centres at the time.
Okay.
Had about probably 30 staff.
Okay. What time period was this?
This would have been sort of 2000, early 2000.
So they would have really been in the ground level of what we think of as childcare today.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they had been in business for a long time themselves, and they ran a very good business.
Yeah.
And then so I stayed with them, and it was as they were growing, I just continued to do more days.
Right.
And then I didn't worry. The other clients that I had were, selling businesses, retiring. So I just didn't worry about looking for new clients.
Yep.
And then in the end, I ended up being there 17 years.
Wow. As a contractor, effectively. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
yeah, 17 years. 17 years.
Yeah.
And I became, I became part of the furniture. So
Yeah.
I worked on their property. So that's where our office was. And when I left, they had 8 centres, and I think we're close to 160 staff.
Wow. A total
So a lot.
explanation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I decided that after that period of time, it was probably, I had a lot of experience in a lot of different areas that I thought I could help small business.
Yep.
And that's why I thought I should start a bookkeeping business again. So
this is actually your second bookkeeping.
yes.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Okay, so the first one you just kind of, that period of time's finished. This company's set up for success, and you rebooted your bookkeeping.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started in officially July 2018.
Wow.
And at the time I thought if I could replace my salary that I was earning, at the childcare centre, then that would be good.
Yep.
And then if I had somebody that could help me, that would be good too.
Yep.
I didn't think we would be where we are today, 7 years later with...
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so I remember you talking about the 7 years, and then I was there the
Trying to put it, yeah.
So, I mean, you're probably one of the larger businesses. You've seen in the larger scale of businesses in the Hills District.
Large for a bookkeeping business.
Yes, I was going to say, for that as well. So was that a deliberate choice on you? Like, you're like, okay, if I'm going to do this again, I want to go big, or is just...
No.
It was just, I want to replace my salary.
Yeah, that was it.
And then more people kept coming.
And look, I've always had the luxury of my husband working in corporate. So he's always had a good role in corporate. So I never, there was a period of time when I left childcare and started my own business. I didn't really have to be in a business earning money straight away kind of thing. So I guess it was just organic the way it happened.
Right.
And I just kind of started and then it just kept growing and, and then COVID hit and, I was exploring offshoring. So there's a whole lot of things that I've done that I would never have thought I would do.
7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's 18 of us now and offshore and onshore.
Yep.
So the offshore team's great. So they're our team. We deal directly with them.
Yep. That's pretty cool. And I guess before we go any further, one thing that I think I have often wondered, and also I think some of the people I've spoken to who've watched the channel of, what is the difference specifically between bookkeeping and accounting?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah. So I like to say that the accountants are like the doctors.
Okay.
And the bookkeepers are the nurse.
Okay.
So we help with the pain and the medication and getting them out of bed every day.
Yep.
So in their business, we're, on the ground with them. Okay. And the accountants are the doctors that you go to once a year and, you might check in with them if, if something comes up that you're not sure about.
Yep.
But generally, that's the difference.
So my mum, my auntie, and my sister are all nurses, and they have very clear opinions about the usefulness and sometimes lack of for doctors compared to nurses. In fact, I won't quote them directly, but oftentimes they would allege that the nurses probably do 90% of the work and figure out the problem long before the doctor ever does. Is that...
It's the same. It's similar, yeah. But I think the difference with us is that we embrace working with the accountants. So we love working with accountants. There are still a lot of old style bookkeepers that it's accountant versus bookkeeper.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's probably still some old accountants out there that are the same. But we love it. As soon as we have an introduction to a new client, we ask them, if they're happy with their accountant, we'd love an introduction to them.
Okay.
We jump on a call with them,
yep.
Introduce ourselves. Especially the accountants that don't offer bookkeeping internally.
Yep.
And and so we like to make sure, because at the end of the day, we're all working for the client.
Right.
So we just got to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a little bit of rivalry there, but
yeah. Thank you for your answer. That's good.
And accountants that value us,
yep.
that understand what we do, we make their life much easier. So
I can imagine, because sometimes when you go to an accountant, if you haven't had a bookkeeper, I swear they just must be like, okay, it's just going to be one of those days. That's through all.
They have to clean up the files. So essentially, if we get a new client that comes to us, we offer a complimentary health review of their accounting file. We prefer Xero, but we do MYB and QuickBooks as well.
Okay.
And then that gives us an idea of what the business is like, how it's transacting. And then we can go back to them and say, look, usually we find there's some cleanup work.
Yeah.
And then we can actually get them on the right track, and then you speak to the accountant and, that's kind of how we go forward.
That's pretty cool. And I suppose, you've been in and around finance and numbers for most of your career. And, I mean, you talking earlier, you basically have an MS-DOS program. And now you have a Xero. So you've seen a lot of technological change.
Yes.
From what I've seen, you're quite an advocate for that, a technology solution.
Yes. Yeah.
What are the sorts of trends and themes that you've observed over that time that are really critical?
So over the time, I think you have to keep adapting and you have to keep going with what's coming. I think in bookkeeping industry, the average age of a bookkeeper is about 56, 57.
Wow.
So there's a lot of whilst that's great, there is a lot of issues there because a lot of the average bookkeepers are still working by themselves, and they are still working in MYOB. Now, I've worked in MYOB for 20-something years myself, but what happened there was they actually didn't evolve with the cloud, with the changes to technology as quickly as they probably should have.
Okay.
Xero was born in the cloud, and I think what happened is MYOB probably may have been a bit caught off guard with that, and then suddenly Xero became popular, and it's a much, much better product. Okay. In my opinion. I'm sure there's other people they'll still swear by MYOB. I think MYOB has its purpose for some clients, particularly those with inventory. But I think the speed of what we can do things in Xero now, it's why it's the product at the moment that's the market leader.
And what are the sort of like practical impacts of that for a business owner? Does it make their life easier? Or?
It does make their life easier, but also what's been sneaking in, as we all know, it's just the hot topic of AI.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't realise is we've been using AI for years in one form or another. It's just now becoming more like integrated into our lives. And, with things like receipt management, we use, apps for our clients to take photos so that they can actually come straight into Xero. So that we don't have to ask them for their receipts, or they don't turn up with bags of receipts. And I still have one client, Wessim, that still does that. He's in his 80s. Right. And he's a landscaper, and he'll turn up and he'll leave the bags of receipts at my door. And it's like,
did he go through them all, take photos?
You have to go through it. I think my 3-year-old might be able to do that soon. My 3-year-old granddaughter, we might train her up for that sense. So I think a lot of the old style bookkeepers they're not adjusting quick enough to the changes that are coming. I mean, we're using bots. We're using, yesterday, one of my team created a bot that we could quickly review applications for a job, and in the Philippines, because we've got a lot of applications at the moment. And that's okay. I just created a bot.
So good.
And there was few little teething issues because we need the person to be able to use our CRM. So we use a white label version of Go High Level. So, now she tweaked it and now it's looking for Go High Level. So, these things are happening, and I feel that a lot of the traditional bookkeepers are not using these tools, and they're going to get left behind. But maybe they're getting close to retirement, so they're not too concerned.
Just by the time this matters, they're like, caravanning or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is probably a little bit off topic from a bookkeeping perspective, but I mean, even the way that you just referred to, you gave your employees some time and space to go and experiment with that. That's not a common thing that a lot of leaders would do. So do you have like a leadership philosophy that underpins your willingness to give people time that you may have wanted to come and do that?
So if we go back to when I started this business, my whole idea was to replace my salary. That was it, kind of thing, or to try and earn a bit of an income there. But I had no vision of where I would be in my business or as a leader. So fortunately, I've had some great role models along the way, and the one thing that I've probably learnt is that just to value your employees.
Right.
And I think if you value your employees and you create a really good environment, really good culture, then everything else kind of just works itself out.
Right.
So in terms of leadership, I haven't ever said this is the leader I'm going to be. It's just kind of naturally evolved. And then I guess even the people that it's about having the right people in your team.
Okay.
And I think by having the right people, and they're definitely got to be younger because they're more tech savvy. And my practice manager offers, she's the can-do lady. Like I'll just say, and she's 20 years younger than me.
Right.
And I'll just say, I've got an idea, and I can just see her going, oh no, here she goes again.
Right.
And she just makes it happen.
Right.
And that's like my whole senior the senior members of my team, they're all like that. So yesterday, yes, with the bot, so that was fantastic. You know, and but all of them, they're all, you know,
No.
yeah. And in fact, Tracy, who I bought today, Tracy and I have been friends for many years, but her and her hubby had sold a business, and she decided that she didn't want to retire.
Yeah.
She's my age, so she's still got another 25 years of working. No, I'm just joking.
She wasn't liking you.
But so she came on, and we kind of thought, okay, well, we're not sure what you're going to do, but we'll find a role. And honestly, within the first week or two, we thought, what did we do without Tracy?
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think even there, like another thread I just want to pull a little bit further. I mean, even there where you're able to say, you know, that's the can-do lady. I mean, that's an incredibly high level of self-awareness to identify, one, that you need a can-do person, and secondly, that you would empower them to actually go and be can-do, because there's plenty of leaders who would recognize the need and then micromanage the person to oblivion.
No micromanagement.
Right.
Well, I want them to come to work, be happy to come to work, and you know, and if someone comes to me with an idea, you know, fantastic, let's explore it. So Kim yesterday, who was building the bot, we were both on an ATO webinar about bots that automating client accounts that they can go into the ATO and grab the client account details, which we try and get it when we join our BAS to make sure where the client is in terms of they paid their BASs, do they have a payment plan in place, that kind of thing, and then go and attach it to our workflow in Carbon, which is our practice management.
Yeah.
And there's a bot that can probably do that for us.
Right.
So those types of things are like not replacing. That would be typically something that Tracy would do. That's not replacing Tracy. That's actually freeing her time up to do something of higher value.
Yeah, scaling your productivity for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm all about that. I haven't been scared of any of those types of investments.
Yeah.
To to make everybody's job better.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly working for your business. I mean, 7 years to grow to that level in Australia is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it has. And then along the way, we've been lucky enough to win a couple of awards.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So last year we won the Australian Accounting Awards for Bookkeeping Firm and Bookkeeper of the Year.
Is that something that for you is quite important? Like, is it sort of like a good milestone to reach for this?
It's nice to have recognition.
Yeah.
And I think it gives us credibility.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be doing awards every year.
They're a lot of work. It's surprising.
They're a lot of
We
work.
see people get up and shake hands and they get their award. In the background, I feel it's like the duck on the water, right? Like on the surface, it's looking all calm underneath.
I know. And look, it was great. And we might do it again. I mean, we've just been nominated this week for the Australian Women in Business Awards.
Okay.
But I'm just like, that's really nice to be nominated. But
Yeah.
it is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been my focus this year. So this last year we went away for a month.
Yeah.
And whilst I was away, I was doing some mentoring. I was listening to, some podcasts and things along the way. And when I came back, I realized that my business needed to change.
Yeah, right.
So I got on the call and I could see like a dozen or so faces looking at me, and I thought, oh, this doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Because we've always had this call Wednesday at 1, I used to call it, where we just all jump on the call at 1 o'clock wherever we were.
Yeah.
So that we could be a team. And when I came back to the Wednesdays at 1, I went, this doesn't work anymore.
Isn't the team's too big for it?
It's too big.
Yeah, right.
So the newer people are too shy to say anything, and so we changed and I restructured and put everybody into teams. So now we have I think we've got 3 teams at the moment. So we have a client account manager, and then we have bookkeepers that are under that.
Okay.
And they had their own Wednesday at 1 type meetings.
Yep.
Yeah. And then once a month we have a team meeting where the whole team jumps on.
Okay. So you're sort of looking to scale your culture now, or scale your business while not losing the critical aspects of your culture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I've been doing on a Friday afternoon a random call where I just pick someone and call them.
Like, you just have to know in advance. So everyone just has to sit at the YouTube. Does it me?
And see, he's online. And then I just call them.
There's another person who sent you the last email.
No. It's just like, who haven't I spoken to? And then I just Yeah, just randomly call them. So I think they know that they've done it a few times now. So they think they know it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but they don't know when it's.
That's not because they're in trouble.
No, it's just what do you do on the weekend? And,
That's cool.
how have you been at, is everything good at home? There's a lot of challenges with the Filipinos in the environment that they live.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to be connected with them.
Yeah.
And go over there once or twice a year to see them. But in fact, our operations manager, she was my first employee. So she's been with me for a while. She's coming out in a couple of weeks.
That's that.
So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Going this way this time.
yeah, so she's like, we always have a bit of a joke and say she's like our third daughter. So
Oh, that's
yeah. So I brought her out a couple of years ago, and she'd never travelled internationally from the Philippines before. So
Yeah, that's a huge experience.
huge experience.
That's so nice.
So she came, and then this time she's coming out for XeroCon. So Ashley and I are meeting her in Brisbane, taking her to XeroCon. And then after that, we're meeting my husband in Cairns, and we're taking her, to the Great Barrier Reef from Port Douglas. And
Really spoiled that.
yeah,
That's nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I know when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, you're super pumped about, I could just hear it in your voice, very excited about the QMS
Oh, the QMS.
release. One, how is that going? But more importantly, for those who don't know the story, do you want to share a little
Yeah.
bit about what it was and how it was birthed? And
Yeah. So yeah, the QMS has been a whirlwind. So about 12 months ago, it was announced the TPB Tax Practitioners Board, who we are aligned with, announced that there's going to be changes to our professional code of conduct, and included in that meant that all bookkeepers and accountants had to have a quality management system.
Right.
So that was announced, and probably, I think it was actually early, the first week of July, and everyone had to have it by the 31st of July that year.
Okay.
Right, so 3 weeks.
Get cracking.
No consultation to any industry body.
Yeah.
No, nothing. So, and then of course all the industry bodies came in and went, there's not a chance that this is going to happen in 3 weeks. There's a whole lot of things that need to happen. So, and they put it on the back burner.
Yep.
And but I had a feeling, I thought, well, given that we're a larger bookkeeping practice, if they are going to start to audit and to make sure that people have these processes in place, they're probably going to come after the bigger practices.
Yeah.
So I thought we need to get ours right. So I employed a compliance manager, and we started building out our QMS. And then as we started to get through the QMS, I'm like, why don't we just create this so that we can actually sell it to people that get to the 30th of June next year?
So just prioritize.
Just prioritize it. Yeah.
That's great.
So we did. So we worked towards how would we do that? What would it look like? And fortunately, Kim is ISO. She's had experience with ISO.
Okay.
So
27,001.
as 9001, I think
okay,
this one is. Well, she had some ISO experience. So then she went and did a course, and I think it's 9001 is.
Probably would be.
Yeah. And anyway, so we went down the path of productizing it. So probably I'm going to say maybe April, we kind of really worked on making sure. I mean, it was a long process, but by April we were really kind of nutting it down, going, well, we need to release this in May so people have got it for June.
Right.
And in the meantime, we'd also implemented a new CRM system, and we were then playing around with that. So how do we sell it on our CRM system? All these types of areas that
Yeah.
we haven't done.
Now we have an e-commerce store.
Now we have an e-commerce store. We're bookkeepers. What's happening? So I think we came out the last week of May with it.
Yep.
There were a few other people that came out. All the industry bodies did give templates.
Right.
So they supplied templates, but the templates were very high level, and it was basically a sentence with what they had to do, and then the people had to fill in. So it was a very brain work kind of thing. Ours, we decided to base on ISO.
Yep.
And so ours did look a little different to the other ones that people were coming out with. And basically we just had an accountant's pack and a bookkeeper's pack. And in the pack was the QMS, that had, we created ours with live placeholders so that people didn't have to fill their business naming 27,000 times. They just
Especially quite practical.
and it went
I
through.
love that.
Yeah. So we had a whole series of live placeholders that they needed to complete. And there were parts that they had to go and tweak. So they would have to go and choose things that related to their business. We gave them a few options to prompt them. They could make it customizable. If they didn't like those options, they could change it. But essentially, it was taking what was a 40 or 50 hour job to create from scratch to maybe, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on how much time they wanted to put into it. And then there's all the associated registers that go with it, conflict of interest registers, corrections logs, all these other things that we had to have. So yeah, it was probably the end of May we came out with it. And then we found even still, so we created it so it could be for a solo person or for a team.
Right.
But what we found was the solos were getting stuck on the fact of editing and taking out any team references.
Yep.
So over the long weekend, we went, okay, let's just do the solo version.
Yep.
So by the Monday after the long weekend, we had a solo version then. So basically, it was essentially what we'd already built, but it had really scaled it back.
Yeah.
And it also didn't include, we have to have changes to our engagement letter, which is included in our bookkeeping and accounting pack. And also we had to have a contingency plan and caretakers agreement. So if something happened to us, what happened? So we just put it back into a small product that was just a QMS, a solo QMS with none of the extras. And so we went to market with that.
Yep.
And
It's quite an innovative approach. And I mean, in the tech industry, they would talk about how you had to pivot, and that's they use all fancy.
Oh,
words
yeah,
to say that now.
yeah.
Is that something that you would associate with yourself, like a very innovative in how you do things?
I think so now,
Yep.
because when I think, where are we now in like end of July, within a couple of months, we've got a store on our website.
Yeah.
We've got 2 products we went out with that we've actually pivoted, if you like, and came up with the solo version. And now we've pivoted again because some people still want the service done for them. So now we have a done for you service. So we've had to create a form that we fill out so that we can get the information that we need to be able to create it, to do it for them.
But prior to this, you wouldn't have put the term innovation with you.
No.
Wow.
No.
It's really incredible, actually. I think it's quite an astonishing display of leadership. But
I think we just go, okay, and my theory is always say yes and we'll figure it out. Like we can work it out. Just say yes and there's always a way. So
it's quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then, so I know when we were talking on the phone, like the success was far more than you. I think.
Far more than.
20 and you got 120 or something.
Yeah. I actually don't even know the numbers now. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And then from that, we thought, because I do have a very small kind of social network, I don't have a big LinkedIn presence or social media presence. How do we get the word out there? So I did try and go to a couple of, thought leaders and people in the industry, but they weren't interested. And then I thought, okay, well, why don't we have an affiliate program? So of all the people that have purchased our templates, we went out to them and said, if you want to, pass on how great these templates are, then we'll reward you. And, there's a payment. So
that's amazing. And that worked?
Yeah, that worked as well. And it was like, wow, these people are signing up to our affiliate program. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it has been a bit of a whirlwind. And then off the back of that, we had we held our first webinar.
Yep.
So we held a QMS Q&A.
Yep.
And basically, for our very first one, given that we don't have a big social presence, we had 132 people register. And 82 people got on the call, and
wow.
40 minutes later, 82 people were still on the call.
So you can put them to sleep?
No, I thought, because this is the first time I'd done it. I was waiting for to drop off because I hear that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then we got some really nice phone calls after that about how helpful the people found the session and also the QMS.
Yeah. So for everyone watching this channel, when you turned up today, you were telling me how you're feeling quite shy and nervous. You've never done this before. I mean, come on. You're holding webinars that no one leaves. I mean, that never happens. Normally you go on those calls and by the end, you're lucky if there's 40 to 50% of them.
Oh, no, it's way outside. Sorry. It's way outside. And then from that, now we have a webinar coming up with Ignition, which is our software, our engagement software in the industry.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, so that one I'm a little bit nervous about as well. But it's everything that we've done in the last kind of, 8 weeks has all been outside of it. Yeah.
And so where to next? Like where council sort of like, do you have a plan? It sounds to me like the way that you tell the story, you've just fallen into everything that's happened and you've seen opportunities and just gone for them and been like agnostic as to the outcome as long as it works out. So do you have a plan now, or you just kind of...
I should have a plan, shouldn't I, James?
I don't know.
I do.
Your plan, whatever you've got going on right now, is where...
Oh, see, it's to me.
Change it.
Look, I do business blueprint with Dale Beaumont, and I've been doing that for a few years, and I really enjoy doing that. I'm off to next week.
Yep.
And one of the sessions that he has in our whilst we're there is that we have to sit down, we have to write our plan and what's coming in the next 90 days, what's coming in the next 5 years. Can I tell you, I struggle with that every single time.
Right.
Every time I struggle.
Like, no.
I do it. I try and do it, and I think, why can't I do this? I don't know why. I haven't really ever been able to kind of plan. Look, I think generally for a council sorted, yes, like to continue to grow.
Yep.
I think that now we have a store. What can we sell in the store? Actually, yeah, we could, but also all of our processes. So we're very process driven, and we have a process to how to do a BAS, how to do an IETS, how to process a payroll, how to onboard a new client, those sorts of things. So maybe we can productize those and then sell them to other bookkeepers that might help
them sell their business or scale their business.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what's next. But stay tuned.
Yeah. Talk to you in a year's time, you'll be like, I've got 500 people now.
Oh, no, it's kind of opportunities that present themselves. And I think, we can do that. Why can't we do that? So I actually do have an idea around LinkedIn, but that's something that we...
Yep, see how it goes.
Yeah, see how it goes. So...
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd like to switch into advice mode. I mean, now as I'm asking you for advice, so I feel like you're quite an experienced bookkeeper, done a lot of different industries. Now you've got a business of bookkeepers that are doing it well. What are some of the key things that you see businesses do well and not do well that have quite a big impact?
So businesses that do well usually set up some sort of accounting software to start with. They usually are good at putting their tax aside for GST, and if they're a sole trader, then their tax or that kind of thing. So they would have probably 2 bank accounts.
Yeah.
They engage a bookkeeper or an accountant, somebody to help them from the start. They don't try and figure it out for themselves and then end up in a mess. Yep. For the ones that don't do well, that's exactly what they do. And then they come to us, and often there's 20, 30 hours of cleanup work.
Wow.
So, and often if they're like a sole trader, they may have been using their business account for their personal account as well. So there's kind of mix of transactions in there. And they're not good at saving for tax. I think sole traders especially see their bank account and they think that that's their money.
Yeah.
But it's not. Some of it's already promised to the ATO for GST or for PAYG, for super. So I think the businesses that do well can separate those.
Yeah. I think we were talking at a cafe and you had like I think you outlined a rule or some sort of like do these things to save for tax, was it? Yeah,
so I think always move. Like if you're a sole trader, maybe put 30% away. Just as a
of your revenue.
Of your revenue, right? And I know that it depends on whether people are registered for GST or not GST, that kind of thing, because, there's 10% of the GST that needs to go. I know that you get a rebate from your expenses. You've got to pay you're only paying the gap. But I always try to encourage people to just pay on the income. Yep. Because then that way you've got surplus. Yep. So everything goes wrong. Yeah. So for a company, each week I'd recommend moving the GST aside. So look, if your average BAS is 24,000 and there's 12 weeks in a quarter, then I'd just say put $2,000 a week aside.
Yeah.
And then also their PAYG. So when they pay their staff, whatever the PAYG is for the week, move that aside.
Yeah.
And then payday super. Payday super is coming. It's coming from West July next year.
Oh, I thought it was this year. Okay.
Yeah, 1 July 2026. And we've been working with, our clients have been on payday super since COVID. So once they came out of COVID, I thought it was a good idea at the time.
Yep.
That for cash flow, they weren't even talking about moving it to payday then. And now they're moving it to payday. So
payday super is where, but basically whatever your pay run is, fortnightly, monthly, that's when you pay the super instead of getting to the end of the quarter.
Yes.
And then doing it all at once. Yeah. I mean, to me, it makes total sense.
It does. And, everybody actually, it's cash flow as well. So people would much prefer to pay it each week than at the end of the quarter when they've got to pay their BAS as well.
Yeah. And it reduces risk to employees as well.
100%.
Now they're getting paid the super as they're working, not they could get, presumably, like you get to the end of the quarter and the person doesn't have cash. Yeah.
And that's what's happened. So we have seen that. We have seen that time and time again when people come to us that they're so far behind on super.
Yeah. Is there anything that you find that really annoys you about what people haven't done with bookkeeping that you're like, this is so straightforward? Can you just get this right?
I let those types of things annoy me because a lot of our clients come to us and they'll say, oh, look, this is going to be really bad when you look at it. You know, it's the worst you've ever seen, and usually it's not. But they're plumbers or they're electricians or whatever it is that they do. I can't do what they do.
Yeah.
So we just try and educate them and try and support them rather than be annoyed with them. We do get annoyed with our clients if we're, emailing and calling and texting and they just don't reply. That's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But, they're usually the ones that are burying their heads in the sand.
Yeah, that's right.
They're the ones, that's right. And they're the ones that have got huge ATO debt.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were having a conversation with 18-year-old you, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would say to her to set her off on her life adventures, just come out of high school?
I would say give everything a go. Like 18-year-old me wouldn't have given everything a go. I was very, conservative, just did the right thing, followed the process, that kind of thing. Now I would just say try anything. Like, if the worst thing that can happen is something doesn't work.
Yep.
That's it. Otherwise, the things that I have done now that I never dreamt that I'd be doing. It's actually really, it's been a fun ride, but you don't know what you don't know, right?
That's right.
And you want to tell 18-year-olds to do that, but they're going to be they're the same,
right? They're looking at life this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you've actually got to
looking that way.
That's it. You've got to kind of live the experience and go on the journey. But yeah, I think to business owners, I'm always passionate about saying to them, just get it right at the start. If you can get it right at the start, I'm not going to sit you in 2 years' time with a tax debt. So many small businesses have huge tax debt right now.
Yeah. I can imagine, I was fortunate that my grandfather kind of taught me about that long before I started business, but I can having seen friends go through the process, I can see how easy it is to do because you're focused on the day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
I need the cash.
Yeah, that's it.
You spend it and then you get to that. I think you referenced it when we were talking before. The problem then is in Australia, if you have an accountant or a bookkeeper, you don't have to pay that debt till May.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you get stung because now you got to pay that debt. Plus now you're on the ATO's watch list.
Yeah.
And now
That's
very easy to spot.
Very new businesses, and that's one thing I do tell new businesses, people that come to me that want to start a business. Yeah. I do tell them that that 18 months to 2 years in, you're actually going to get caught out if you don't prepare now, because the ATO don't know about you for the first 12 months or so.
Yeah.
And then by the time you do your tax, which could always be another 12 months later for that first year, depending on timing, then suddenly you've got tax bills from the previous year, and then they want you to pay in advance.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then they all come unstuck, and then I hear all I do is pay tax.
Well, yeah. I'm happy to finish the interview there, but you're welcome to ask me questions if you want to ask questions. Otherwise, we can finish.
Oh, I don't know what sort of questions to ask.
And ask whatever questions you want. I mean, I've just been asking you a bunch, so
Oh,
I like to let people throw it back.
so what are you going to do with your what are you trying to achieve with your YouTube channel?
What I've found with YouTube that I really enjoy is the educational aspect, and I've also found that tends to connect with people who watch. So now that I'm got the opportunity to really pivot towards AI, what I want to start doing is sharing stories from entrepreneurs like yourself that kind of are related to doing business, because I think that's a huge part of it. And then alongside that, I'll actually be showing people different ways to use different parts of AI tools that are out there. I've kind of set myself a goal or a challenge of trying to build my business just using AI and just see how far I can actually push the boundaries of it. And to be honest, I'm quite astonished at what I can already do with no code.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a software developer, so for me, that's not natural, but just forcing myself to think, if I was just a business owner who didn't have a tech background, what could I actually do with this, and record that and share that? So
And how amazing is it?
it's mind-blowing, actually. I just genuinely feel that when I shut down the business a couple of months ago, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, what am I going to do? And I just had this thought in my head, like, I wonder how far you could take AI. I don't think, even though I was thinking in that way, I had any idea of what was possible. And I still don't think, I actually feel like all I've done now is uncover enough to realize how little I actually know about the whole thing, which for me is very exciting. It reminds me like when I got into cybersecurity. So
it is. It's really exciting. It's up on the world. They're saying that it's as big as the Industrial Revolution.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Because it just allows people, like, to me, like, so my wife is from South Africa, and when she was growing up, she couldn't even really access the education system. And so there's a whole part of the world that has really been locked out of technology. Something like ChatGPT, where they offer it freely, has access to the world's knowledge. Like, it's a game changer.
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
Like, have crazy infrastructure to make it happen. Like, I think it's phenomenal.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I'm looking into through Business Blueprint that I do. They've got they do an AI monthly workshop.
Yep.
And I'm a little bit behind, and I need to catch up. But they're talking about having a whole organization of agents.
Yes. I mean, that's actually what I was doing this week, was seeing if I could build an agent to automate some of the YouTube content creation stuff.
Yeah.
Not the actual recording and that sort of stuff, because I like to keep that live, but all of the, how you manage your videos and how it gets transferred around to the different editors. And I was like, I wonder if I could which takes hours of time.
Yeah.
It's not very productive. And I was like, I wonder if I could automate that. Turns out
You can.
4 or 5 hours, it was done. I was like, it was crazy.
I know.
For me, it's super impressive.
Yeah, it is. And I guess too, it's the human element that we have to keep in amongst all of this.
Yeah, I think where things go wrong, I like how you framed it, because that's kind of what I think as well, which is when you can scale it in a way that enhances a human, that really works, because people are pretty smart. And then you can, like, take out the manual stuff and help them just do the things that require creativity. To me, that's the sweet spot.
I think so. Yeah.
Trying to just replace a person.
No, I don't.
Realistic.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, well, it's exciting. Watch this space with AI.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Cool.